There is an invisible force siphoning your energy every single day, and most people have no idea it's happening. You could be eating well, sleeping enough, even meditating regularly, yet still wake up feeling depleted, unfocused, and strangely disconnected. It's not always your body that's tired, it's your frequency. There's a specific vibration, subtle yet powerful, that drains your life force from the inside out. And until you see it, it continues to run your reality. The universe at its core is vibration. Everything that exists, matter, light, thought, and emotion, is oscillating energy fluctuating at specific frequencies. Quantum physics tells us that beneath the physical world lies a vibrating field of probability. You are not a solid object in this field. You are a pattern of frequencies interacting with the infinite. Every emotion, every thought, every belief emits a vibration, a signal that both shapes your experience and attracts its energetic match. The problem is that there's one particular vibration that quietly disrupts your field, lowers your coherence, and siphons your creative power. It's not anger, not sadness, not even fear. It's subtle, deceptive, and easily disguised as logic or realism. This vibration is resistance. Resistance hides beneath frustration, procrastination, judgment, and overthinking. It's the feeling of pushing against what is, of internally arguing with reality. Every time you resist, your frequency fragments. Your energy no longer flows toward creation. It collapses into friction. Resistance is not a feeling that passes through you. It's a vibration that holds you in energetic stagnation, slowly draining your life force. To understand why, we have to look through the lens of quantum coherence. When particles oscillate in harmony, they form coherent systems, fields of energy that amplify themselves. When they oscillate chaotically, the field loses power and stability. Your consciousness works the same way. Coherence amplifies your energy. Resistance destroys it. Every time you oppose the present moment, you introduce incoherence into your field, scattering energy across conflicting signals. You can feel it instantly: tightness in the body, shallow breath, mental noise, emotional friction. Resistance interrupts flow, creates fatigue, and keeps you looping in repetitive patterns. The mind resists what it cannot control. A conversation that didn't go your way, a delay, a rejection, a perceived mistake. And in doing so, it disconnects from the quantum flow that fuels vitality. The cost isn't just emotional, it's energetic, physiological, and even magnetic. Ancient traditions warned about this long before quantum physics gave it language. In Taoist philosophy, resistance is described as swimming against the current of the Tao, the natural flow of life energy. In the Bhagavad Gita, resistance appears as attachment to outcome, binding the soul to suffering. Modern thinkers like Joe Dispenza and Bruce Lipton echo the same principle scientifically. Resistance activates stress responses, creating incoherence between heart and brain. Over time, it drains the nervous system, suppresses immunity, and closes the gateways of intuition. The hidden danger is that resistance often masquerades as strength. Society glorifies fighting through, pushing harder, proving yourself. But in energetic terms, constant opposition is chronic incoherence. It is not power, it is depletion. True strength lies not in resistance, but in alignment, the ability to remain open, adaptive, and fluid, even amid uncertainty. Every low-energy day, every block, every sense of burnout can often be traced back to this subtle vibration. Think about it. When you resist what is, when you replay the argument, reject the circumstance, or judge yourself for not being there yet, you split your energy. One part of you is here, but the other part is stuck in a version of reality you can't accept. The result is fragmentation, and fragmented energy can't create. Now consider how this applies to manifestation. You've heard that your vibration attracts your reality, but resistance sends mixed signals to the field. You may say, "I want abundance," but vibrationally, you're radiating frustration about its absence. The field doesn't respond to your words, it responds to your frequency. So instead of collapsing the probability of abundance, you collapse the probability of wanting abundance but not having it. That's the energetic trap. the draining vibration of resistance disguised as desire. Look closely at your daily energy patterns. The tiredness that strikes midday, the emotional heaviness that appears out of nowhere, the sense of being stuck, even when you're doing everything right. These are signs of resistance. You might not be resisting consciously. It often happens subconsciously through self-judgment, comparison, or fear of outcomes. Resistance is like static interference in your broadcast signal, weakening your connection to the field of possibility. When you stop resisting, energy returns almost instantly. Think about the last time you finally accepted something after fighting it for days or weeks. The relief, the clarity, the lightness that followed. That's the sensation of coherence returning to your field. Acceptance is not passive, it's powerful alignment. It doesn't mean you like what happened. It means you've stopped feeding incoherence. And in that state, reality can shift. The greatest paradox is that most people try to overcome resistance through more resistance. They fight their feelings, judge their judgment, and resist their own resistance. But energy doesn't dissolve through opposition. It dissolves through awareness. The act of observing resistance without trying to change it begins to neutralize it. That's the quantum observer effect in action. Consciousness transforms energy simply by observing it without interference. So pause. Feel your body. Where do you sense tightness, pressure, or heaviness? That's where resistance lives. Observe it. Don't analyze or suppress it, just notice. You'll feel a subtle unwinding begin, a return to flow. This is coherence, energy reorganizing itself into harmony. This is why meditation, breath work, and stillness practices are so transformative. They train the mind to observe without resistance, to remain coherent even as sensations or thoughts arise. Over time, this creates a baseline vibration of openness and fluidity. You no longer waste energy resisting life. You direct that energy toward creation, inspiration, and alignment. Even science can measure this. The HeartMath Institute discovered that when heart rhythms are coherent, rhythmic, and synchronized, the brain enters resonance with the heart, creating measurable shifts in clarity, intuition, and energy efficiency. Resistance, on the other hand, throws heart and brain out of sync, draining the body's electromagnetic field. You feel it as anxiety, fatigue, or confusion. But the good news is, you can recalibrate. The vibration of resistance isn't permanent. It's a temporary pattern of incoherence. Awareness is the first shift. Presence is the second. Acceptance is the third. Together, they restore energy and align you with the field of flow. And before we continue, if this truth already resonates somewhere deep within you, if you can feel that you've been leaking energy through resistance, pause right now, hit subscribe, and anchor yourself in this field. This channel isn't just information. It's an energetic space designed to help you recalibrate, restore coherence, and learn to navigate the quantum field from alignment, not opposition. Because the journey doesn't end here. Resistance is just the surface. Beneath it lies an even deeper mechanism, a hidden loop between emotion, identity, and energy that keeps you repeating the same vibrational drain. And once you see it clearly, you'll realize how to reclaim every ounce of energy you've been losing without even knowing it. But that's where we go next. Resistance doesn't just steal energy, it rewires your very sense of self. Over time, operating from a frequency of opposition programs identity. I am someone who struggles. I am someone who can't relax. I am someone who has to fight for everything. These subtle loops are invisible at first, but their cost compounds daily, shaping the realities you inhabit, your relationships, and even your physiology. The energy drain isn't just temporary, it becomes structural. Imagine a radio constantly broadcasting static. The longer it remains in that pattern, the harder it becomes to tune into a clear signal. Resistance operates the same way. Thoughts of "I shouldn't feel this way," or "this shouldn't be happening" produce micro-friction in the energetic field. The nervous system begins to mirror this friction, heart rhythm coherence diminishes, and clarity of thought fades. Over weeks, months, and years, this vibration literally rewires perception, creating a life that mirrors struggle, delay, and fatigue. Even subtle, socially acceptable resistance counts. Overthinking, judgment, and internal criticism all broadcast low-frequency signals. You might appear functional, even successful, but the quiet drain persists. Opportunities, synchronicities, and intuitive guidance are diminished because the field reflects not your conscious desires, but the vibration you inhabit. You are leaking energy in ways most people never connect to life outcomes. Relationships are one of the first areas to reflect this invisible drain. Constant resistance produces subtle tension. You might argue, overanalyze, or become frustrated with loved ones repeatedly. Not because they are wrong, but because your vibration fractures coherence, creating friction that the field mirrors in human interactions. Energy is lost in conflict, unspoken tension, and misalignment, perpetuating cycles of relational fatigue. Health follows suit. Chronic low-frequency energy activates stress pathways, elevates cortisol, and suppresses immunity. Even cellular function responds to energetic coherence. Studies show that stress, fear, and resistance reduce heart-brain synchronization, lowering efficiency in energy use and decision-making. This is the hidden price you pay every time you resist life instead of flowing with it. Your body mirrors your frequency. Your energy reflects your vibration. Opportunities, creativity, and manifestation are directly affected as well. Resistance fragments attention and focus. You may spend hours worrying, planning, or rehearsing what-ifs instead of acting from aligned energy. The energy drain reduces clarity, slows momentum, and diminishes your ability to collapse probability into realities that match your intentions. Essentially, resistance transforms potential into friction before it even manifests. But here's the subtle insight. The energy drain isn't caused by external circumstances. It's caused by your interaction with them. Reality is not punishing you. It's mirroring your vibration. Low-frequency states act like a siphon, pulling energy away from creation and toward friction. Awareness of this loop is the first step toward recovery, because what you observe you can begin to correct. Recalibration begins with observation. Notice where energy feels stuck. Is it in your chest, head, or stomach? Where do you feel resistance as tension, heaviness, or agitation? These are not abstract feelings. They are energetic markers pointing to the exact area where your field is fragmented. Observation alone begins to dissolve resistance, because consciousness reorganizes energy. Next comes breath and presence. Deep, rhythmic breathing immediately restores coherence. It signals the nervous system to relax, rebalances heart-brain communication, and stabilizes the field. Even 2 minutes of intentional breathing interrupts the drain, realigning energy with higher frequency states. Presence amplifies this effect, anchoring consciousness in now rather than the loops of resistance. A more advanced technique is emotional scanning. Observe each emotion without judgment. Label it mentally. This is frustration. This is judgment. This is worry. Simply naming and observing energy patterns reduces their coherence-draining effect. When emotions are acknowledged rather than resisted, they flow through rather than fragment, releasing energy back into your field. Subtle shifts in thought and attention amplify recalibration. Instead of dwelling on what shouldn't be, consciously focus on what is aligned, present, or possible. Gratitude, curiosity, and appreciation are high-frequency states that restore energy and coherence. When these states are practiced consistently, your identity begins to shift. You become someone whose energy is coherent, fluid, and magnetic rather than fragmented by resistance. Even interactions with others change. Notice how subtle energy shifts alter dynamics. When you radiate coherence, conflict diminishes. Conversations flow effortlessly. People unconsciously respond to your frequency. This is not manipulation. It is resonance in action. Energy that once drained in discord now circulates in alignment, multiplying vitality rather than depleting it. The cumulative effect of these small recalibrations is profound. Over time, what once required effort becomes effortless. You no longer fight against life, you flow with it. Energy that was leaking through resistance now supports creation, clarity, and manifestation. You're no longer simply surviving. You are thriving on a structural level, embodying high-frequency coherence as default. Yet awareness and practice alone are not enough. Identity must shift. You must recognize yourself as a coherent, aligned being capable of sustaining high-frequency states even under stress. Resistance will still arise. It is the reflexive pattern of lower-frequency habits. But when coherence becomes identity, interruptions become temporary, energy loss is minimal, and the field mirrors this alignment consistently. Consider the subtle daily practices that support this transformation. Early recognition of micro-resistance in thought and emotion, consistent breath and presence, and deliberate attention to alignment all function as energetic recalibration tools. Each practice reclaims energy that would otherwise leak into fragmentation, reversing the hidden costs silently draining vitality. And here is the invitation. Subscribing here isn't just for content consumption. It is entering a field of resonance designed to support awareness, realignment, and identity-level coherence. Each video interacts with your consciousness, helping you notice where energy leaks, restore flow, and inhabit a high-frequency state effortlessly. The channel itself becomes a vibrational anchor, reminding your field that energy can be reclaimed and stabilized. But the story doesn't end with identification and practice. There's a deeper mechanism underlying this energy drain, subtle identity loops that unconsciously perpetuate resistance. Until you observe these loops, energy continues to leak, even with awareness. Understanding how identity, vibration, and perception interlock is essential for complete reclamation. That's where the next part of this journey takes you. The true mastery begins when high-frequency coherence becomes your identity, not just a practice. At this level, you no longer chase energy, fight resistance, or try to force alignment. You are the vibration that naturally attracts flow, clarity, and creation. Energy is no longer lost. It circulates freely, fueling insight, action, and magnetism. You are the source, not the victim of hidden drains. Resistance may still appear, but now it functions as a guide rather than a drain. The moment you sense tension, agitation, or mental friction, you recognize it as a signal, a chance to realign, observe, and shift back into coherence. Energy is reclaimed instantly when you no longer unconsciously reinforce low-frequency loops. The power of awareness becomes automatic. The drain has no hold over you because it cannot persist in a field of conscious coherence. Relationships transform profoundly under this embodiment. Tension dissipates before it escalates. Misunderstandings resolve intuitively. Conversations flow effortlessly because the energy you radiate is coherent, magnetic, and present. People unconsciously respond to your vibration, mirroring the high-frequency alignment you inhabit. What once required effort, negotiation, or persuasion now arises naturally through resonance. Energy that was once drained in conflict now flows in connection, support, and clarity. Opportunities, finances, and career momentum accelerate in a similar way. When your vibration is coherent, the field aligns with your energy. Synchronistic events, intuitive guidance, and timely resources appear effortlessly. The drain that resistance once created is replaced with magnetic alignment. Actions become powerful because energy flows directly toward creation rather than being scattered by friction. Manifestation is no longer effortful. It is the natural byproduct of alignment. Health, vitality, and mental clarity respond instantly. Coherence stabilizes the nervous system, regulates hormones, and strengthens immune function. Even subtle daily choices, breath, posture, attention, circulate energy efficiently throughout your field. Fatigue, stress, and burnout fade because energy no longer leaks through resistance. The hidden cost disappears, replaced with vitality, presence, and resilience. Creativity and intuition flourish. Incoherent, draining vibrations suppress insight. High-frequency coherence opens channels to possibility, allowing inspiration, solutions, and clarity to emerge effortlessly. The mind, body, and field operate in alignment, producing a state of effortless flow in both thought and action. Energy that once dissipated in resistance now amplifies creation, opportunity, and insight. Identity is the linchpin. When you consistently inhabit coherent vibration, you redefine yourself. You are no longer the person fragmented by struggle, judgment, or frustration. You are the observer, the field, the coherent source of aligned energy. Resistance no longer defines who you are, coherence does. The hidden drain is neutralized not through effort, but by embodying a frequency that naturally collapses possibilities into aligned realities. Practical embodiment involves real-time awareness. Each micro-moment of tension becomes a cue. Observe, breathe, recalibrate, and refocus attention on alignment. Emotional patterns are recognized without judgment, letting them flow rather than stagnate. Thought loops are observed and released. Even small, repeated calibrations accumulate, shifting energy, perception, and action into full coherence. Energy flows freely because you no longer resist life, yourself, or the field of possibility. Daily life becomes a living laboratory of high-frequency embodiment. Challenges, delays, and friction are no longer drains, but signals guiding attention back to coherence. Synchronicities, insights, and moments of flow appear with increasing regularity. The drain that once existed becomes a subtle reminder of past habits rather than a present reality. Energy circulates, amplifies, and resonates in all areas of life. Here is the ultimate truth. The vibration that drains you is optional. It exists only because you have unknowingly sustained it. The moment awareness, presence, and coherent alignment dominate, energy is instantly reclaimed. Life mirrors your vibration precisely. The hidden drain disappears not because circumstances change, but because your energy does. You are no longer giving away life force to resistance. You are consciously channeling it toward creation, flow, and alignment. Pause and feel it. Imagine your daily life as a continuous field of vibration. Observe where energy leaks, where subtle tension arises, and where you unconsciously reinforce resistance. Then allow presence, breath, and awareness to flow into those areas, reclaiming energy. With repetition, coherence becomes the baseline state, and the drain becomes impossible to sustain. Even subtle micro-habits reinforce this embodiment. Early recognition of tension, conscious recalibration, and repeated alignment with flow ensure that energy circulates fully. Over time, the body, mind, and field synchronize into coherent resonance. You are no longer simply surviving. You are thriving, operating from a frequency that attracts reality in perfect alignment with your highest potential. Relationships, opportunities, creativity, and health all reflect this embodiment. Interactions flow, insight arises naturally, synchronicities multiply, and the body hums with vitality. Life responds instantly to your frequency. Energy that once dissipated through resistance now powers every area of existence, amplifying impact, joy, and creation. And here is the final invitation. Subscribing here is not just about content. It is entering a resonant field designed to help you observe, reclaim, and embody high-frequency energy. Each video interacts with your consciousness, helping you notice drains, restore flow, and collapse probability into aligned realities. This channel is a vibrational anchor, a space to sustain coherence and eliminate hidden energy leaks. The story does not end here. Life is a continuous field of possibility, and mastery is ongoing. Every moment presents choice, resistance, or coherence. Energy can always be reclaimed, aligned, and amplified. The hidden drain is no longer a silent tax. It is a reminder of the power you now wield consciously. Remember this. Energy is life, and frequency is the key to how that life manifests. By observing, recalibrating, and embodying coherence, you reclaim every ounce of energy that was once drained unknowingly. You are no longer a passive participant. You are the conscious architect, the field navigator, the coherent source of reality itself. Step fully into this embodiment. Notice, observe, and reclaim energy continuously. Align thought, emotion, and attention with flow. Life no longer siphons vitality. It mirrors your coherence perfectly. You are free. You are empowered. your energy restored. And in this state, resistance no longer drains. It transforms into insight, guidance, and clarity.